What's up, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're going to find out why everyone swears by the EP booster. Alright, so if you're anything like me, chances are you watch a ton of YouTube videos on guitar pedals, guitar gear, rig rundowns, and things like that. And you have favorite guitarists and favorite guitar influencers, and you love to see what's on their rig and how they get their tone. And again, if you're anything like me, you've wondered, why does everyone seem to be so obsessed with this guy? This is the EP booster by Xotic. And I've always thought, isn't a booster just a booster? Is it really worth the extra money to get this thing? Why does everyone swear by it? So we're going to go ahead and listen through some examples. I went ahead and compared the EP booster with the Santa Carla by Kaline, I don't know how to pronounce it. You can see it's pretty dirty. It's been through quite a few gigs. This is one of those pedals that's priced pretty low and still has pretty good ratings. So I've been using this for a while. It also glows in the dark and it has teeth on it, so I really like that. So let's listen through some examples that I did. I had 2 amps. I had my trusty Blues Junior as well as my Vox AC30 that you see over my shoulder there. And in the example, I play what it sounds like without the boost, and then I add each of these boosts and they'll be labeled as such. And obviously these will make them louder, right? That's their whole point. So they're both set to noon right now, and they seem about even as far as their output. So really it's more about what sort of tone qualities we get. So we'll go ahead and listen to those, and then we're gonna open this up and look at the dip switches inside to see what those really do to the sound. So let's go ahead and give a listen to our first examples. Alright, so that was just swapping between the clean amp and the boosts on their own. On top of that, the EP booster has some dip switches on the insides. We're going to go ahead and pop this open and see what happens when you move some of those dip switches around. Hey guys, Editing Mac here. I realized when I started talking about the dip switches, I didn't explain them very well.
So according to their manual, there's two dip switches. There's the first dip switch and the second dip switch. The first dip switch, when it's turned on, is supposed to add 3 decibels of gain. And when the second switch is on, it's supposed to have a flat EQ. And in the user manual, it gives you 3 different combinations to use. It has the default settings, which is where both dip switches are on. It has what they call their unity gain setting, where the extra 3 decibels of gain is turned off, but the bright switch or the flat EQ is still turned on. And then they have their vintage settings where both of the dip switches are turned off. So I just wanted to hop on here and explain that a little clearer before we give it a listen.
All right, so that overall was interesting. I've taken the time, I've listened back to them. I do understand why people like the EP booster. The first run through where we're comparing the two boosts that I have side by side, it's the EP booster just stock right out of the box. And you can't really hear it on a lot of the chord-based stuff, but on the single line stuff, which is theoretically what you'd be using this for, is more solo-esque type things, it's a lot fuller, it's a lot warmer. This tends to lean more towards those higher frequencies, and therefore it can cause kind of a brittle sound at times. Overall, I don't think this is a bad product, right? For what you pay, which I think, let me check Amazon. Yeah, this thing is $40, so for almost $100 more, is it really worth it to go for this? That's gonna be up to you. Definitely in the room, as well as a different thing than hearing it through a microphone, right? The EP booster does feel a touch more responsive, and it is more pleasing to listen to. So if you're listening to your own solos, you may wanna go for something like this. But again, I don't think this is bad at all. And I also love that it's glow in the dark and the design is a lot more fun than the EP booster. So pros and cons on that one. As for the actual EP booster, I do get it. I do get why people like this more than a lot of other boosters. It is a lot warmer. It's a lot fuller. And on top of that, it can take up to 18 volts to give you more headroom if you really need more. And that's kind of insane. The other thing is that this thing is heavy duty. I don't know what they made this out of, but it's got like theft deterrent, meaning that if someone tries to take it from you, just hit them with this and they won't be able to take it from you anymore. The dip switches on the inside, I don't really feel like they did anything, honestly. It says here that the first dip switch is responsible for adding 3 decibels of gain. I didn't really hear that much of a difference. And then the second dip switch is supposed to be a bright switch. So it says when it's on, it's a flat EQ. So I don't know why they'd name it a bright switch, or maybe I'm an idiot. That's always a viable option. Even still, I don't feel like it really did anything. So maybe I need to mess around with it a little bit more. I don't know. Overall, it is warmer, it is fuller, it almost has more of like a compression effect as well, where it feels like it kind of brings everything forward, whereas this feels like it just boosts your signal and maybe adds a little bit of high end to it. Like I said, for someone who's really trying to hone in their tone and really cares about it, I do think it's a worthwhile purchase, and I do think that I will probably put it on my board because I think I would like more of that warmth to come out. And I can especially see it being significant on like a single coil guitar, where I feel like whenever I play single notes on a single coil guitar, they get a little bit lost in the sauce. And so this, I think, could be a very, very awesome tool. to kind of boost those frequencies and make it feel a little bit more full and kind of in your face. The other thing is I've seen people put these like at the end of their pedal board and keep it at like 9 o'clock, kind of like that. Ooh. And I get that too, because I bet that would just give you a little bit more warmth and fullness coming right into the amp. So, I mean, I get it. I get the hype. Do I think it's 100% worth it? No. Do I think it's about 75% worth it? Yes. I think if you're making a choice on what booster to do and you have a choice between, one that's $40 and $130, which is what the EP booster is, it might be worth that extra $90. But what do you think? I mean, I'm sure there are many of you who feel like they're the same thing. There's not enough of a difference, and that's totally fine. So tell me what you think. What's on your mind? Do you like the EP booster? Is there another booster that you swear by? I know a lot of people love that TC Electronics one. Is it worth it for you to get that extra warmth? Or do you think that $40 would cut it? Let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to like and subscribe for those of you that are new here. I always say if you subscribe, it makes my day better, but even if it's not my day that you make better, go make someone else's day better. It'll make your day better. Once again, my name is Mac Wright. We'll see you around.